Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. How are ya? Are ya good? Alright, this is Sunday the 2nd of April. Sunday? Wait a minute. Let me take a look at that. I want to give you accurate information. Yes, Sunday the 2nd of April, 2017. I said I wasn't going to do a podcast, but it's not my regular podcast. So, So there you go. Anyway. A couple of things I want to talk about today, and I'm going to try to keep it as light as possible. Because, I have a distinct feeling that a lot of people don't know what's going on. Just want to give this simple mini podcast to those folks. Let me give you a little background if you don't know. I've spent many years investigating and researching various geopolitical as well as religio-political ideologies and cultures around the world for over 30 years. And I can tell you this much. A good majority of what I've studied and researched is considered to be by others conspiracy theories. Interestingly enough, up to this point, the 2nd of April, 2017, everything that I've looked at, excluding, area here and an area there, everything that I've looked at and everything that I've researched and everything that I've talked about on my live shows and on my podcast for the last several years is no longer a conspiracy theory. It is absolutely and positively correct and accurate. There are no longer any conspiracy theories whatsoever. And if people continue to say that there are, to me, that only means I have to question their integrity and their character. And I have to question how they develop their ideas from their particular sources. Mama didn't raise no fool and Grandma taught me better, and I guarantee you I can find every single so-called truth there is. Now, do I agree with people like Michael Savage or Rush Limbaugh or Alex Jones or Sean Hannity or Glenn Beck or anybody like it? No, I don't agree with everything that they say. But do they deserve to be bashed for what they say? Absolutely, positively not. And let me flip that coin over. If you think you can do better and more accurately disseminate the information to the general public, then I suggest you do it and shut your big damn mouth. Yeah, I'm a little bitter because, when it comes to the truth and comes to the facts, I get a little defensive because, as I said before, Mama didn't raise no fool and Grandma taught me better. Now, if, in fact, almost dropped my coffee off the desk. Now, if in fact you have a particular or more specific reason to bash Michael Savage, Alex Jones, Sean Hannity, Alex Jones, Glenn Beck, if you have a more definitive, specific reason why you do that, I'd like to hear it. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. No one, I say this, what I'm about to say is what I wrote on my personal Facebook page. And I will share it on American Liberty Radio podcast page. Because it is something that is incredibly important to me to be as positive and to be as accurate and to be as truthful as I absolutely positively can with the resources that I have. And whatever else I question and I keep digging. Keep trying to find the truth and the accuracy of what subject I'm talking about. So, with that in mind, let me say this. This is on American Liberty Radio Podcast and on my personal Facebook page. I wrote this morning. No one is completely right and no one is completely wrong. Unless there's definitive proof someone is lying, making things up, is a shill, etc., 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 then you can absolutely and positively don't know crap. Alex Jones is delivering information to you and is letting you know what's going on. Is he right? Oh, he'll tell you himself. He may not be, and to go and check it out yourself. So will I. If you constantly bash Alex Jones for doing what he's doing, there's a simple solution. You must be right about everything you talk about, so get out there and tell us what's going on. People seem to forget or not accept the fact that this whole government and everything that goes on in it is a total and absolute sham. It has been since President Ulysses S. Grant signed the Act of 1871. And, as a side note, and for the record, Alex Jones is a hell of a lot more accurate and factual than anyone else. I, personally, will be the first in line to tell you I may have overlooked something. That doesn't make me, quote-unquote, wrong. It just means I overlooked something. Do I agree with everything Alex Jones says? Not everything. Just about 70 to 80% of what he says. The rest of what he says is where I dig a little further down the rabbit hole. In other words, I continue to question things. So until you can put the canceled checks and other documents proving yourself correct and prove once and for all that Alex Jones works for and is getting paid by the government as a disinfo agent, your points about him are moot. Keep bashing him. I'll continue to question your resources. This post is to anyone that has ever bashed Alex Jones. As for me, I'll continue to do what I do and continue to dig as much as I do. And I will use various techniques and sources I use to do what I do. I'm sure you'll have an answer, so I'll wait for your reply. And I use the word you in the general sense to no one specific. Get out of your bubble and stretch those intellectual legs of yours. You're afraid of having to admit you're wrong. Look at things objectively and not through the clouded window of your version of the world. You're not quote-unquote right or quote-unquote wrong about anything. At least that's my perspective. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. I'm not right or wrong about anything. I'm more accurate, more factual, more specific on certain things, certain subjects that I talk about in terms of, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. But am I right? I'd be the first in line. I'd be the first one in line to admit when I'm not. I would be the first in line to look at you and say, I may not be right about this, but here's what I've got to say about this. I don't sit there with an arrogant, conceited, narcissistic view of the world and say everything that Alex Jones or Glenn Beck or Michael Savage or Sean Hannity is wrong. Everything they say is wrong. So here's this, and this is the right thing right here. This is what... No. I've seen people do that. They don't last long in the world of independent media. I seem to upset a lot of people when it comes to telling people exactly what I know. And why do I upset people? Well, it's real simple. Two very simple reasons. Number one, they don't want to even hear what I have to say because it destroys their paradigm, their version, their perspective of the world and everything in it. That's number one. Number two, they're afraid of admitting they were wrong. I will not put myself in a position to where I will put something out there that I have only researched and investigated, about 20, 30, 40, 50% of the time. I'm not going to put something out there and leave the rest empty for you. But when I do put out what I put out, when I do say what I say, when I do talk about certain subjects and issues on my podcasts and on my live shows, all I want to do is encourage you to go look this stuff up. I don't want you to believe me. And that's something that a lot of these people who bash Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Alex Jones, this is what they don't tell you, is that they're not right. They'll be like a linebacker of the visiting team to your home team, running everybody over and just plowing everybody into the ground because they think they're right. Well, the conceited narcissistic attitude of those people is very well noted. And I will continue to expose these people for who they are. And yes, I will continue to tell people exactly who they are. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I accurate or factual? Am I hitting the target? Bullseye. No one has, no one has bashed me. No one has talked down to me, but people do talk to me as if I don't know what I'm talking about and as if I'm stupid. But nobody has really been as visceral as they are with Glenn Beck, Alex Jones, Sean Hannity, Michael Savage, all these people, Rush Limbaugh. They never talk to me like that. I never hear them or see their posts on Facebook or Google Plus that says, oh, that Wayne S. Pierce over at American Liberty Radio, he's one of those conspiracy theorists and he's wrong about everything. I don't see that. You know why? I can tell you why. It's real simple. It's real simple. They know that I am accurate and factual. Or from their perspective, they know I'm right. Now, that might have contradicted the one thing that I said in my post, that no one is completely right and no one is completely wrong. But when you have enough information that has proven your previous information 90% or more correct and accurate and factual, chances are I'm right. Chances are you in a general sense of the word, no one specific, you will take the information that I have and you will not dig to find out whether or not it is accurate. No, you won't do that. That's too simple. You'll take it and destroy it by ripping it apart and adding your own speculative and, untruths to it. You'll put your disinfo into that and tell me that I'm wrong and tell everybody else I'm wrong because your arrogant ass seems to think you're right. Kind of at an impasse, aren't we? Let's see. How can we get past this? Well, it's real simple. Shut up. Oh, yeah. That's right. Wow. That was a little harsh, wasn't it? Yeah. Shut up. My mama once told me that if I don't know what I'm talking about, that I shouldn't say anything. And she directed my attention to all the books she had in the hallway, in the, bookcases around the house. As I got older and was driving, I went to the San Joaquin County Library in Stockton, California, where I grew up long before I had the internet, and found that most of the things that I had questioned, that I was looking at the mainstream media of that time and thinking, something's missing here. And I found, quote unquote, the conspiracy theories were no longer theories. Everything I found in those reference books and in the books that I've read from various authors and different things that I thumbed through and found the information specifically for what I wanted to look at of the specific subject and issue I was interested in, I found that there are no longer any conspiracy theories. And as of the 2nd of April 2017, everything is out there in your face and it is directed at you. And the goal of those people putting all that out is to confuse you and make you believe something other than what is accurate and factual and truthful. I don't care who you think you are. That is exactly what the opposition to peace, freedom, liberty, and security are doing throughout all the groups that they fund and all those groups that are funded by George Soros and others like him. So next time you want to bash Alex Jones or Rush Limbaugh or myself or Nick Tucker or Brian Lang, think about this. You're completely and totally wrong from my perspective. I mean, it's 1 + 1 still equals 2 in my book. Whether you like it or not, you better dump everything that you've ever learned, ever understood, throw it out in the trash where it belongs, and start over. That means getting away from your damn computer and going to that big old building in your city called a library. Okay? Yeah, it might take a few days, might take a few weeks, might take a few months, but guess what? You're going to find out you're completely backwards in your way of thinking. Now, am I the smartest person on the face of the planet? No, I'm not. Do I know everything? No, I don't. I'd be the first in line to tell you that I don't know everything because I'd be bored because there wouldn't be anything else to learn. You may, you may say, oh my, he sounds arrogant. Really? Is that what you get from this? Seriously? Anywho, no one is completely wrong. No one is completely right. But when the information is lined up in such a way, 1 + 1 still equals 2. If everything lines up to confirm at least 90% of your previous information that is out there, that has been out there, that has been considered to be a conspiracy theory, which is no longer a conspiracy theory, it's all a fact, it's all sitting in front of you. If 90% of your information lines up with facts, truth, accuracy, and if it's all laid out and it is there and it confirms and validates all the stuff that is considered to be a conspiracy theory, guess what? It must be correct. It must be right, right? It must be. Right? But then again, I could be wrong. I could be. Doesn't necessarily, and maybe not necessarily wrong per se, but maybe I've overlooked something. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. It just means that I've overlooked something. And maybe I got to go back and look at something else. Maybe I missed something. Maybe there's something back there I could have, put on to the side and said it wasn't important at that time. I don't know. But I can tell you this much. There is enough information out there for me to look at and say, you know what? Anybody that's bashing anyone else, such as Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh, blah, 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 you've heard the names. Me, Nick Tucker, Brian Lang, whatever. If there's people out there doing that, that just leaves the one thing for me to do. For me, anyway. To do. And that is, I have to question their character and their integrity. And question their sources, where they get their information from. Why? Why do I question it? Because that's what I do. I often look at people and look at what they post on Facebook and Google Plus and all that, and I get to the point of seeing what they say, and in the last several weeks, I've seen several things that people have said, and I have to just laugh, chuckle uncontrollably. I don't know, whatever it is, but I have to just really laugh at what they post because of the fact, like there's some people. Again, I go back to the Alex Jones bashing situation. People bash him, and I'll talk about him for a few minutes. He's more accurate than you are. You as in the general, non-specific you. He's more accurate and factual than you are. And for you to bash him for selling stuff on his website and being independent, that tells me a lot about you. Okay? Doesn't give me any other view except for you're bashing Alex Jones for people supporting his network through independent means and not through mainstream means and trying to... Wow. Your idea of entrepreneurship has just gone in the toilet because you have none. Okay? I try to keep, I try to encourage people to support American Liberty Radio Network. I try to, they can donate, they can do whatever. What's so wrong with that? I got to keep the lights on in the studio. You know what I mean? So if people want to do it, that's up to them. What, are you going to bash me for trying to support my own network? Tells me a lot about you. Okay? Tells me a lot about you. So anyway. I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to make my consider this a rant, a vent, a message of hope, because there is a hope that at some point, at least from my perspective, that the narcissistic, self-centered bastards out there that want to bash everyone for saying what they say, there's hope for those people who are calling me and everyone like me a conspiracy theorist and all. There's hope for them. So I can hold out hope that they actually can, at some point, admit that they were misinformed or misled or maybe even wrong in their assessment of myself and Brian Lang and Nick Tucker and Alex Jones and Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh, all those folks. I hold out hope for them because that's all I have. Because I can't talk to them directly because they're never, ever, ever, ever going to admit anything. Okay? They're not. They're not going to admit that they could have been wrong in some assessment of something that someone else had said. They're not going to do that. Because their pride would be hurt. They would have to admit that they were wrong about something, and that would shatter their whole selfish paradigm. So, think about that one, folks. Again, let me say thank you for listening. I just wanted to get that out there, and consider supporting American Liberty Radio Network if you'd like. I mean, I got to keep the lights on around here, So anyway, your support keeps the lights on, keeps the show going, keeps the doors open, all of that, and all of your contributions go to that. I get zippo zilch nada out of that, okay? I'm just telling you. It goes right back into the show. Because I want to find more resources, do things more. You know what I'm saying? So there's a couple of things I got planned, but I don't have the resources as of yet to get those things off the ground. So I'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks. But if you want to support the American Liberty Radio Network and keep the lights on in the studio, that would be very much appreciated. So go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to the sponsors page. There's a Patreon link right there. It says, be a patron. Click on that. Drop $1 into Kitty to keep the lights on in the studio, and I would appreciate that very, very much. And, folks, understand what you're talking about. Look at what's going on. Examine everything. And I encourage you to go look this stuff up. I'm just saying. All right? Just go examine what's out there. Folks, I'm going to get out of here. This is my mini podcast. I usually put these together whenever I feel the need to, and this is one of the needs. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being a part of American Liberty Radio Network. Go to American Liberty Radio Podcast to check out more stuff that I have there as well. And check out the website at American Liberty Radio at USA.com.